Imagine standing in front of two identical doors. Behind one door is a future where money works quietly in the background of your life. Bills get paid, opportunities appear, stress stays low, you sleep easily. Behind the other door is a future where every unexpected expense feels like a small disaster. Retirement looks distant, and no matter how much you earn, your bank balance never seems to breathe. Here's the twist. Both doors are unlocked right now, and the key you use to choose between them is what you do financially in your 30s. This decade is not just another chapter of adulthood, it's the control room where your financial trajectory gets programmed. The settings you lock in now determine whether your future runs on autopilot wealth or permanent catch-up mode. Today, we're breaking down the financial pressure points that matter most during this window. The moves that quietly separate people who build freedom from those who stay stuck chasing it. Your 30s are strange. You're no longer new to earning money, but you're also not close to retirement. You're right in the middle, and that middle is where momentum lives. Think of your finances like a snowball rolling downhill. In your teens and early 20s, you're still packing snow. In your 30s, gravity finally kicks in. But gravity only works if there's actually a snowball. Income usually rises during this decade. Skills mature, promotions happen, career leverage increases. But here's the catch. Higher income does not automatically create wealth. Plenty of people double their salary, yet somehow stay just as financially stressed as before. Why? Because income alone is just fuel. Without direction, fuel doesn't take you anywhere. It just burns. The people who get ahead are the ones who build systems before their income peaks, not after. Picture trying to fill a bathtub while the drain is wide open. That's what building wealth with consumer debt looks like. Interest payments quietly siphon off your effort. You work hours, you earn money, and then part of it vanishes into past purchases you don't even enjoy anymore. Debt isn't just a balance. It's a drag coefficient on your life. Every monthly payment is future time already spoken for. It limits choices. It delays goals. It reduces flexibility when life throws surprises your way. Eliminating high-interest debt is like sealing holes in a bucket. Suddenly, the same amount of water actually accumulates. And here's the mindset shift most people miss. Paying off debt isn't just responsible. It's an investment with a guaranteed return equal to the interest rate. If a credit card charges 18%, paying it off is mathematically equivalent to earning 18% on an investment, risk-free. There aren't many opportunities like that in finance. There's a number out there that quietly judges how trustworthy you look to lenders, landlords, and sometimes even employers. It's not your salary. It's not your net worth. It's your credit profile. Think of it as a financial reputation score, a snapshot of how reliably you've handled borrowed money.
Let's
A
review the
strong
financial
profile lowers borrowing
reputation.
costs.
Wait,
A weak
what's
one
happening
raises
to my
them.
clipboard? It's
And the
alive!
difference between those two
Stop!
outcomes can translate into tens of thousands of dollars over time. What's fascinating is how fragile this score can be. One missed payment can damage it. High balances can strain it. Too many new accounts can spook it. But the formula to strengthen it is surprisingly simple. Pay everything on time. Keep balances low relative to limits. Avoid unnecessary new accounts. Maintain long-standing credit lines. This isn't about gaming a system. It's about demonstrating consistency. And consistency, in finance, is rewarded. Imagine trying to build a house without blueprints. You might end up with walls and windows, but they won't necessarily fit together. That's what managing money without a long-term plan looks like. A real financial strategy isn't a spreadsheet filled with numbers. It's a map that connects all parts of your financial life. Spending habits, savings targets, investment timelines, insurance protection, tax efficiency, long-term goals. Without a map, you're reacting instead of steering. With one, Every dollar has a direction. Planning doesn't mean predicting the future perfectly. It means preparing for multiple versions of it. The goal isn't certainty. The goal is readiness. Life doesn't send calendar invites before surprises happen. Cars break, roofs leak, jobs change, health shifts, family needs help. When you don't have cash reserves, every unexpected event becomes a crisis. When you do, it becomes an inconvenience. An emergency fund is not an investment. It's financial armor. It doesn't exist to grow aggressively. It exists to protect everything else you've built. The ideal size depends on stability. Someone with predictable income might need fewer months of expenses saved. Someone with variable income or dependence may need more. What matters isn't the exact number. What matters is having enough liquidity to absorb shocks without dismantling your future. Because when you're forced to sell investments or borrow money during a crisis, you're not just solving a problem. You're often locking in losses or creating new ones. Preparedness buys you time, and time is the most valuable resource during uncertainty. Compound growth is often described as magical, but it's not magic. It's math behaving patiently. Here's the concept. Money that earns returns can itself start earning returns. Over time, growth builds on growth. Early contributions matter more than later ones because they have more time to compound. Imagine planting two trees. One is planted today. The other is planted 10 years later. Even if you water both equally from that point forward, the first tree will almost always be larger. Not because it was treated better, but because it had more time to grow. Your retirement savings work the same way. The earlier you start serious investing, the less you have to contribute later to reach the same outcome. Delay, and the math becomes steeper. That's why your 30s are so powerful. You still have decades ahead. And decades are exactly what compound growth needs to do its best work. If you plan to support a child's education someday, time is your greatest ally. Education costs tend to rise steadily. Starting early allows savings to grow gradually instead of forcing you to scramble later. Even small monthly contributions can build meaningfully over long periods. The earlier they begin, the more growth they can accumulate. Planning ahead doesn't mean covering every possible expense. It means reducing the future burden on both you and your child. And just as importantly, it models something powerful: foresight. There's a stage in financial growth where something shifts. You stop reacting emotionally to every market headline. You stop guessing. You stop worrying about whether you're doing enough. Not because you're rich, but because you understand your system. Financial confidence isn't about having the most money. It's about knowing how your money works, where it's going, and why. That clarity changes everything. It turns uncertainty into strategy, stress into structure, hope into probability. Your 30s are not a deadline. They're a launch pad. You don't need perfection. You don't need to master everything instantly. What matters is direction and consistency. Most people underestimate how powerful small, repeated financial decisions can be. But over years, those small decisions stack, quietly, relentlessly, until they form outcomes that look dramatic from the outside. The future you end up with isn't decided in one moment. It's decided in patterns. So instead of trying to fix everything overnight, choose one area to strengthen. Remove one leak. Build one system. Increase one contribution. Learn one concept. Then repeat. Because wealth isn't built in giant leaps. It's built in steady steps taken long before anyone else notices. And if you start those steps now, your future self won't just thank you. They'll wonder why more people didn't do the same.